All right, so let me make this bigger here.
No.
No? No.
Because they're recording all of it.
I'm not going to make that bigger. I'm going to keep it the same. Okay, so first thing I'm going to go over is the drawings. Okay? So when we have our rectangle with patty paper, should have looked like this. And in order to get full points, you should have had 3 folds, at least 3 folds. Okay? So I drew this line, folded this side over, folded this side over to get these 2 lines right here. And then I folded one more time to get that last line. Okay? So it's not always about, well, it kind of looks like a rectangle. You got to construct it right. Okay? Especially on the test. Next, we had a kite with a mirror. Okay? So the easiest way to do that was to draw this line first. And then we find the perpendicular bisector. And we make sure that it's short on the top and long on the bottom. Okay? And then we connect the 4 points. Get a kite. Everyone okay? And then the last one, we had a square with a compass. Okay, so the first thing I did was I drew this line right here. And then I found the perpendicular bisector by putting the pointy end here and making a little arc, putting the pointy end here and making an arc. And then I drew a line straight through. And then I made sure that all the, I measured right here with a compass, and I made a little tick mark. And then I kept the pointy end there, made a tick mark there, there, and there, and connected all the sides. So that should have gotten our diagonals to be congruent, which would give us a square.
If you had Miss Murphy show you how to do this, there's more than one way, obviously, to do this. I showed you a more complicated way. Either way is right on the test.
Right. As long as we can see that you use the compass to construct a shape, you'll be good. Okay? The correct shape, right, obviously. If you draw like a circle with a compass, that's not a square. I know. Crazy, right? Okay. So, let's go back to number 1 here. So, number 1 said, rewrite the statement of in if-then form. So we should have had something like, if apple pies taste the best, then they were made with fresh apples. Okay? Number 2 should have been, if it is not Sunday, then we are in school. That's false. When else are we not in school?
Monday, Saturday, sometimes Thursday.
Exactly, right. If you skip school or Saturdays, right? Hopefully you don't skip school, but on Saturdays. Okay, number 3 should have been B, so it should have been 1 and 2 only. Okay, because the converse is true, and the statement can also be written as a true biconditional. That's if and only if. That's that one. Okay, number 4 should have been, if x is not equal to 4, then x squared is not equal to 16. Okay? Number 5, if x squared is not equal to 16, then x is not equal to 4. Last one, if x is equal to 4, then x squared is equal to 16. Okay? So number 7, we're supposed to write a converse, I believe. For 7. Right. Write a converse of the statement, if you are a Homo sapiens, then you are a man. Right? So the converse is, if you are a man, then you are a Homo sapien. Now that is false, right? Because women are also Homo sapiens.
What does Homo sapien mean again? Human, right?
Right.
I had a couple people there.
Homo sapien is human, and women are human too. We're all human. All right. Number 8 should have been number 8, guys. Number 8, which is this shape right there, that should have been a parallelogram, because opposite sides are congruent and parallel, and that's it. Okay, number 9 should have been a kite. I think we all know what a kite looks like.
Triangle.
It's not a triangle. It's good to try, though. Number 10, it says, is it true that all parallelograms are rhombuses? Should have been no, right? Because a rectangle is a rhombus, a square is a rhombus. Or wait, no, sorry. A rectangle is a parallelogram, and a square is also a parallelogram. Okay? Number 11, it says the diagonals of a parallelogram always bisect, which means they always cut each other in half. Okay? Number 12, what type of quadrilateral has no parallel sides? That should have been a kite. A kite has no parallel sides. Okay? Let's see, number 13. If all four sides of a quadrilateral are congruent, the quadrilateral is either a square or a rhombus. They both have all four sides congruent. Okay, and number 14, it says, what is the difference between inductive and deductive reasoning? Write in 4 or more sentences. Now, this is not 4 or more sentences, but this is what absolutely needs to be on there, right? You need to put for inductive that it's based on patterns. And for deductive, you need to have that it's based on known facts. So for your 4 sentences, you could have said, inductive reasoning is derived based on patterns. An example of inductive reasoning is 2, 4, 6. What's the next number? 8, right? Because we're going up by 2. That's close. It's a good try. And then for deductive, right? Deductive is derived based on known facts. Okay? An example of deductive reasoning is like an algebra problem. Like 7x is equal to 35, so x is equal to 5. Because we know that. Okay, that would be an example. But all yours are going to be different, but this is what you need to have. Okay? And then number 15 is when we started drawing stuff. Okay, so on to number 18, which was what we've worked on for the past week or so. Okay, the shape should have looked something like this. Okay, right now my origin is right here instead of over here, because otherwise it would have gone off the paper. So I put it down here. Okay, so B for number 18, okay, the side length should have been, for AB is 5.8. For BC is 10.8. For CD is 5.8. And then for DA is also 5.8. I am having trouble. There you go. Good. So that means that opposite sides are congruent, which means it's at least a parallelogram, right? Because that's what base a parallelogram has. Opposite sides congruent. Good. So for C, we're trying to find slope. And so we had to do rise over run. We should have gotten negative 3 over 5, negative 2 over 5, negative 3 over 5, and negative 2 over 5. So the ones that are the same, right, that means they're parallel. Okay, so opposite sides are parallel. Good. So when we go to number D, or letter D, okay, this is the diagonals. We're trying to decide whether or not they are what their slopes are. Okay, so AC, we should have had negative 13 over 9. And for DB, we should have had 7. Okay, well, these are not opposite reciprocals, so they are not perpendicular, and obviously they're not parallel, because they're not the same. Okay, E, we're trying to find the midpoints of the diagonals. Okay, we should have gotten 6.5 and 7.5. 6.5 comma 7.5. And they both had those, which means they bisect. What does bisect mean again?
Cut in half.
Cut in half. Exactly. Good. F. So F said basically what shape it is based on all the things you found. It should have been a parallelogram because, right, we found in letter B that opposite sides are congruent. Okay? In letter C, we found that opposite sides are parallel. And then in E, we found out that the diagonals bisect. Okay? So those are the things that I put there to prove that it's a parallelogram. Everyone okay? Good. Okay, so for number 19, it should have looked something like this. Okay, it doesn't have to look exactly like this. On the test, I would suggest that one of your points starts at 0, 0. Right? You can start it, over here if you want to, but it makes the calculations just that much harder. Okay, so I would suggest starting at 0, 0. Okay? Okay, so, right, with this being kind of a general sense, you might have used different letters than me, but we should have all gotten the same final outcome, which was that opposite sides are congruent. Right? Mine were A and B and B, but yours could have had different letters depending on what you chose. Okay? You should have also found that opposite sides are parallel and consecutive, which means the ones right next to each other. Those should have been perpendicular. Okay, my slopes were 0, undefined, 0, and undefined. Yours may have been different. Okay? B, again, the final outcome, both of us should have gotten that they are congruent. Okay, but you might have different letters in here. But whichever letters you got, it should have been the square root of a letter squared plus a letter squared. Does that make sense? Kind of? Okay. And then for letter C, okay, AC, we're trying to find the slope of the diagonals. So AC, I got A over B, and for DB, I got negative A over B. Okay, which means that they are opposite but not reciprocal. Reciprocal is when we switch them. Okay, so whatever letters you used, it should have been a letter over a letter, and then negative a letter over a letter. Right? Either way, you should have gotten that they're not perpendicular. Okay, does anybody have any questions on how to do this? We're all good? We're ready for the quiz?
No. What's today? No.
What is today?
Thursday.
Today is Tuesday. Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Yeah, but
So what's up with Ford?
Everyone.
So what's up with Ford? So what's up to you?
oh, it's recording. All right.
Didn't you just press pause? Oh, here she goes. What did you sign already?
How do I stop this?
No, you didn't. Mess with Brandon.
Oh, I didn't see that there was a stop thing over there.
There is a stop.
Stop.